Director Vaca, members of the board. The Middle Rio Grande has experienced 95 points unique river miles, the highest total recorded. Should I wait?
So, staff, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Power through.
Okay. So that's the highest total dry since monitoring began in 2004. The previous was 78.9 unique dry river miles set last year. Over the monitoring period, the average annual unique dry length has been 37 river miles, so significantly above what we typically see as far. Figures underscore of this year's supply challenges. There have been a few rain events over the past month, but they have not produced enough influence to improve the available water supply. There is only 99 cubic feet per second. So it sounds like I said 99, but there's only 9 cubic feet per second crossing the Colorado-New Mexico state line on the main stem of the Rio Grande, while the Rio Chama upstream of Alvado is flowing at only 16 cubic feet per second. The Ottawee gauge upstream of Cochiti Reservoir, which I have a map of where that's located on the next slide. It's on the main stem of the Rio Grande upstream of Cochiti Reservoir. And it's a good gauge to indicate total supply that's available to the Middle Valley. So I have a hydrograph of that gauge on the next slide. So today that gauge is reporting 280 cubic feet per second. The year-to-date cumulative volume of native Rio Grande water measured at Ottawee is the lowest recorded for this point in the year since the continuous gauging at this location began, which was in the early 1900s. I think 1918 was when they started continuously monitoring at that gauge. So today's flow measured at Ottawee is 500 cubic feet per second less than what is needed to meet Middle Valley agriculture and conveyance demand. And that's illustrated by this red line on the hydrograph. So the blue line on the hydrograph is measured. The red line measures MRGCD agricultural and conveyance demand. And there's a 500 cubic foot per second gap between what we need to meet irrigation demand and what's available. And most of the water that's currently measured at Ottawee today is being supported by releases from storage. That includes both San Juan Chama project water and Pryor and Paramount water. The amount of native Rio Grande water being produced by the basin is not sufficient to meet the needs of the 6 Middle Rio Grande pueblos. As a result, Middle Valley non-tribal use upstream of Isleta Pueblo has been curtailed, and the Bureau of Indian Affairs is releasing Pryor and Paramount water from storage. Non-tribal lands upstream of Isleta will remain curtailed until rain inflows increase available supply in locations that can benefit those lands. And the landscape is incredibly dry right now, so that's going to limit the amount of runoff that any individual rain event is going to produce. The forecast on the next slide, I have the weekly forecast. The forecast for this week calls for cooler temperatures, I think the 80s later in this week, and some chances for rain throughout the week too. So we're getting prepared for some potential rain inflow. However, the seasonal outlook, which is on the next slide, through September continues to show forecast for this week calls for cooler temperatures and some chances for rain throughout the week. Looking at the next slide where we have the seasonal outlook through September, this continues to show elevated chances for above average temperatures across the basin. Waiting for the slides to catch up. Oh, there we go. The seasonal outlook shows that we can expect the basin to experience above average temperatures through September, and the area with elevated chances of above average precipitation has shifted west of the Rio Grande, where the previous outlook had that above average temperature chances for precipitation sitting right on top of us. But we're still looking on the equal chances for above or below average, which and we're right on the edge of that above average precipitation chances. So I'm going to be optimistic, and hopefully we see some rain events coming in soon. And MRGCD has also now received authorization to move forward with a pilot low flow conveyance channel monsoon operation. These operations will allow MRGCD to divert up to 200 cubic feet per second from monsoon events into the low flow conveyance channel at the Santa Casia intake gates. The purpose is to help New Mexico improve Rio Grande compact deliveries during the monsoon season. Casey Ish worked very closely with the state and reclamation to complete the necessary compliance work in time for monsoon season, and I would like to thank all of those involved for getting that work done in time. And this concludes my report. I will stand for questions and encourage everybody to pray for rain.
Madam Chair, before we pause for your questions, I do want to say thank you, one, to staff, to Casey, to Ann, to those who participated. I do want to say a big thank you to the state of New Mexico, who took on the responsibility of paying for and working through that EA process. And then I do want to say thank you to the Bureau of Reclamation. They moved as diligently as they could through the process they had. And so thank you to everybody. I think it's an important step for both the state and the MRGCD in partnership with the state to be able to show the value of trying to move water 12 months out of the year. We need some rain to be able to do that, to show that value of making deliveries 12 months out of the year to Elephant Butte, and MRGCD stands ready to assist the state with that obligation. And I think our partnership with the state on this EA shows that. And I think that should be celebrated by our constituents and the state of New Mexico, that the state has a good partner in the MRGCD to help facilitate that, the state meeting that obligation.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Merkin. Any questions from the board? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.